Hey guys, happy Friday. Hope everyone's had a great week. Today we are going to be talking about fat loss versus weight loss. This is going to be a 30-minute live session where I'm going to be covering a couple of key topics. So, just a quick question for you guys that are joining. Are you trying to lose weight or are you actually trying to lose fat? Because they are not exactly the same thing. And the confusion is why most people get stuck. So if you are wanting to hear more about fat loss versus weight loss, then please stay for the next 30 minutes because I'm going to be running a live on tips and tricks based around this. So, if the scale hasn't moved for you, but your clothes fit better, or you've lost weight before and gained it back, stay here in the next 30 minutes. I'm breaking down fat loss versus weight loss, while the scales lie, and how to know if what you are actually doing is actually working. So, if you guys have never met me before, my name is Ross. I'm from London, so from the UK. I've been training over a decade. This is my current condition at the moment. So I'm in a pretty good place to help you guys with getting to your fitness goals and achieving what you want to, where you want to get to in 2026. For anyone that is just joining, this is going to be a live for the next 30 minutes, fat loss versus weight loss. So if you guys have ever struggled before with losing weight and it's piled back on after, please stay, engage with me, ask me questions. I'm always on hand here to help you as best as what I can. And just like always, the more guys that you could like the live, the more that you guys can engage. This is what I want in terms of goals for this live today. So, in terms of setting an agenda for the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to be talking about what is the difference between fat loss versus weight loss. We're then going to move into why do the scales lie? How people lose weight, not fat. How to focus on fat loss. How to track fat loss without obsessing. We're then going to do some busting fat loss myths, and then around 6:30, we're then going to close up. So, for anyone that is just joining, my name is Ross. I've got over a decade of experience in the fitness industry. This is my current condition at the moment. If you guys are interested in getting educated about fat loss versus weight loss, then please stay. So, firstly, what is the difference between fat loss and weight loss? So, in relation to weight loss, the scales go down, including fat, water, and muscle. You will lose weight fast, but this is very, very temporary. So, this is what you'll find if someone is on an extreme diet, on a fad diet. Usually, when they first jump on dieting, they will lose a lot of weight in the initial phase. Main reasons for that is because they have dropped their calories down from their calorie maintenance level. They've dropped it by a certain deficit, and this is why the scale goes down. The scale goes down. It also includes fat, water retention, and muscle. But this is temporary. After a certain period of time, at the start, an individual will lose the weight quite quickly, and then what they'll find is they'll hit a sticking point where they can't lose a certain amount of weight. They get stuck at a certain point. So in terms of fat loss, only body fat is lost. The most important thing to remember here is the scale may stay the same, so you still might weigh the same on the scales, but your body changes and your clothes fit better. This is super, super crucial to understand. Weight loss, the scale goes down. This includes fat, water, and muscle. You will lose a lot of weight at the start. because you're in that calorie deficit. But this is only temporary. On the other hand, fat loss, only body fat is lost. The scale, so you still might weigh the same weight, but your body is changing and your clothes fit better. The real life example here is you could be the same weight, but you could be different jean sizes. Super, super important, guys, to remember that. And if you guys have experienced the scale staying the same, but noticing your body changing, I want you guys to write same in the comments. Let me know if you guys have experienced this before. And if you guys are finding this live helpful, please like this live. I really appreciate the feedback as we're running through. For anyone that is just joining, we are running through fat loss versus weight loss. We're running through a live for the next 25 minutes where we're covering some key topics. We've just went into what is the difference between fat loss and weight loss. The next topic that we're going to be covering is why the scale lies. This is a crucial part, and this is why a lot of people cannot be tied to a number on a scale. If you are obsessed with your weight on a scale, that is completely the wrong way to go about things. You need to be more focusing on how your body is feeling. How do your clothes fit? What do you look like in the mirror? These are better performance metrics to go from. So, why the scales lie? Water retention, hormones, salt, menstrual cycles, recent meals. If you actually wake up in the mornings and you go to the toilet, you have a quick wee. If you weigh yourself in the mornings, once you have literally just woken up and gone to the toilet, you will notice that you are at your lightest weight. If, on the other hand, you have gone out for the whole day, you eat your dinner after you watch my live, then you get on the scales. If you have a heavy meal, that could easily be 3 to 4 pounds of weight. If you are drinking lots of water throughout the day, again, that is all tied to additional weight on the scales. That's why in the mornings when you're dehydrated and you've just gone to the toilet, that is your true weight. That is when you are at your lightest. If you are on things like, your time of the month, things like that, different hormone balances, this is all going to affect your weight. On the other side of things, muscle gain can mask fat loss. If you are holding a lot of muscle, then that could potentially mask the fat loss that you're experiencing. This is why it's super, super important to make sure that you are going on these fat loss journeys, not for 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but for something that is for a longer period of time. 12 to 16 weeks is super, super important. You need to be super patient when it comes to fat loss. Quick weight changes don't just mean fat loss. Just because you've cut your calories by 2 to 300 calories does not automatically mean that you're getting fat loss. It's super, super important to remember. Going back to what is the difference? Weight loss is when the scale goes down. But with weight loss, you're also including fat, water, and muscle within that weight loss. On the other side of things, fat loss is only when body fat is lost. You still might weigh the same weight on the scales, but your body is changing. Your clothes may fit differently. Well, they definitely will fit differently. That is a really key point to take away. As an example of why the scales lie, have you ever lost 5 pounds overnight? That is not fat, it's water or food weight. So just like I mentioned, if when you go to bed at night and you wake up in the morning, you go to the toilet, you'll find out that you are at your lightest in the mornings. You're dehydrated. There's no water in your system. You've not just had a heavy meal. So if you guys have ever been on the scales and ever been chasing a number on the scales, I want you to type in scale into the comments. I think we've all experienced this before where we want to get to a particular point. Trust me, I've been there. When I first started training many years ago and I was extremely skinny, I wanted to weigh a particular weight. And you've got to remember that we are all different heights, shapes, sizes. It doesn't matter about the number on the scale. It's all about what you look like in the mirror. If you guys are finding this live helpful, please like the live. Please comment if you guys have got any questions whilst we're running through. I really appreciate the feedback as we're going along. So we've run through fat loss versus weight loss. So we've run through what is the difference, why the scales lie. Now we're going to start talking about how people lose weight, not fat. Really, really key topic that is coming up. So the main reasons why how people lose weight and not fat is extreme calorie cuts. So if you are dropping your calories from the sky and you are suddenly going from 2,500 calories a day to 2,000 calories a day, then you are going to have extreme weight loss. But remember, this is not just going to affect the body fat. This is also going to affect water and muscle. This is super, super important to remember. You can't just suddenly have that deficit and then not have a knock-on effect on the other areas. How people lose weight, not fat, is they do excessive cardio and little strength training. If you want to lose body fat, if you want to achieve fat loss, then doing excessive cardio is basically just going to make you lose weight, not fat. You remember, you need to focus on a mix of the two. You can't just be doing excessive cardio and no strength training. How people also lose weight, not fat, is they skip protein. They don't make this a priority. You need to be making sure that you're getting at least 1 gram per pound of body weight. So if you don't know how to work out your numbers, you need to take your weight. So I'm 82 kilos. That's around 180 pounds. That means 1 gram per pound of body weight is 180 pounds. Nice and simple. And how the last key point around how people lose weight, not fat, is they have poor recovery and sleep. This will stall fat loss. A lot of people out here really want to have a medal put around their necks for sleeping 4, 5, 6 hours a night. The only way that you are going to achieve your fitness goals is if you are having 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. And I understand that we are not robots. We have bad days. Sometimes we have a rough night's sleep. But for 90 to 95% of the time, we need to be making sure that we're getting at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. Poor recovery and sleep, that's going to have an impact on your results. Comment me if you've done one of these things before. So if you guys have either done an extreme cut on your calories, if you've done excessive cardio, little strength training, if you've skipped your protein, if you've had poor recovery, comment me in the comments. If you guys are liking this live, please like the live. Please make sure that you ask me any questions whilst we're running through. I'm always happy to help. The topic that we're talking about, for anyone that is just joining, Darren, I see you just joined. We are talking about fat loss versus weight loss. We've just got over 15 minutes left on this live. Next, we are going to start to talk about how to focus on fat loss. So this is going to be one of the key topics of this live. So what you guys need to do in terms of setting yourself up for success with fat loss is have a moderate calorie deficit. You don't need to starve yourself. Like I mentioned, You, if you are dropping your calories, let's say from 2,500 to 2,000 calories, that is too much of a drop. You need to start with a moderate calorie deficit. You don't need to starve yourself. If you guys don't know how to work out your maintenance calories, you go online to a TDEE calculator. You go onto Google, you fill out your information, your name, your height, your weight, your activity level. There's no need to lie. Once you get that calorie number, so let's say it's 2,500 calories, you don't need to go into a crazy mode and drop 500 calories. If you drop it by just a small 200 calories to begin with, give your body some time. 200 calories is a good starting point. See how you progress over the next week to 2 weeks. Remember, it needs to be a moderate calorie deficit, not starvation. The next thing around how to focus on fat loss, hey Kelly, is to focus on strength training at least twice to 3 times per week. If you are not strength training at the moment, then you are not going to get the optimal results for fat loss. Strength training twice to 3 times per week. For me personally, I do 3 full body sessions. This is how I maintain my current physique at the moment. Super, super important that you focus on strength training. Strength training is going to be key in terms of shaping your body, in terms of activating fat loss, and in terms of getting the results that you want. This is how I maintain the current physique I've got at the moment. Hey, Nikki, Haley, great to see you. Thank you for joining the live. The next thing that you need to do in terms of how to focus on fat loss is to make sure that you are sourcing having a good source of protein with each meal. For me personally, I eat 3 times a day. What I make sure that I do is I have a good source of protein with each meal. So in the mornings when I wake up, I have a shake. It has water as the base, oats, flax seeds and chia seeds, protein powder. I have 3 raw eggs in there, frozen fruit, a banana, a teaspoon of peanut butter, and then on the side I have a glass of fresh orange juice. Really, really important to make sure that you are prioritizing a good source of protein, not only to hit your protein goal throughout the day and to set you up for success, but it's an easy way to make sure that you are set up for success. At lunch and dinner times, I make sure that I either have a good source of protein, so that could be either chicken or fish, something along those lines. But you guys can mix it up. Most important thing to remember is, are you having a good source of protein with each meal? Nice and simple. And this is how I maintain this physique right here. Nice and simple, no restrictive diets, just making sure that I'm having a good source of protein with each meal. The next success measure to make sure that you can focus on fat loss is to have daily movement. And the easiest way that you can get cardio in throughout the day is doing 10,000 steps a day. I will preach this for you guys just join in. 10,000 steps a day is the bare minimum. If you are doing 10,000 steps a day, you will get the results that you want. I maintain this physique just doing 10,000 steps a day, doing the 3 strength training sessions each week, and then talking about what I've been doing in terms of my nutrition over this live. Hey, Tina, good to see you. Thank you for joining. The best way for you to break your 10,000 steps a day up is to break them into 15 to 20-minute segments in the mornings, at lunchtime after you've just eaten your lunch, and then in the evenings after you've had your dinner. If you break them into simple segments like that, what you'll find is you'll be able to easily accumulate 2,000 to 3,000 steps in those 20 to 25-minute blocks. Nice and simple. You don't have to overcomplicate it. If you like speaking on the phone, just put your headphones in, call your friends, family member. If you like listening to a podcast, it's really, really important that you're getting your 10,000 steps a day. Thank you, Dave, for joining. So, what we've run through so far is we've run through how to focus on fat loss in terms of setting yourself up for success, making sure that you're having a moderate calorie deficit. You don't need to starve yourselves. Hey, Jimbo, next is to focus on strength training, at least 2 to 3 days a week of strength training. I do 3 full body sessions each week. That's how I maintain the current physique that I'm in at the moment. Next success measure is to have protein with every meal. Having a good source of protein with every meal will set you up for success throughout the day. I have protein powder and a couple of eggs in the morning in my shake. At lunch, I'll then have a good source of chicken. And then in the evenings, I'll usually have some fish. You don't have to overcomplicate it. Nice and simple. Make sure that you have a good source of protein with each of your meals throughout the day. To incorporate daily movement. So 10,000 steps a day. You're going to break them into 20 to 25-minute segments. You're going to go out for a walk in the mornings. You're going to get sunlight into your eyes. That is going to reset everything. Super, super important to reset your circadian rhythm in the mornings. Get nice direct sunlight into your eyes. Get you started for the day. 20 to 25 minutes of walking in the mornings. You're then going to go out for another walk at lunch for 20 to 25 minutes after you've eaten. And then lastly, 20 to 25 minutes after you've eaten your dinner. Nice and simple. Thanks, Asad, for joining. If you guys are liking the live so far, please like the live. If you guys have got any questions regarding weight loss or fat loss or any general fitness questions, please put them in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer them as we're running through. The last successful measure in terms of how to focus on fat loss is all around sleep and stress management. I can't highlight enough. If you guys have poor sleep, this is going to have a knock-on effect in terms of your results. You could be doing all of the great workouts in the world, but if you are not prioritizing proper rest and recovery, then this is going to stall. This is going to impact the results that you're going to get. So, what do you need to do in terms of setting yourself up? Make sure that you're getting between 7 and 9 hours of sleep every night. We're not robots. I understand it's difficult at certain periods. Life happens. But if for 90 to 95% of the time, you can make sure that you're getting between 7 and 9 hours of sleep every night, that then is going to make sure that you're having optimal recovery. You're then going to be able to perform during your workouts. You're then going to be able to manage your stress levels. Managing your stress and sleep is going to be the best thing if you want to achieve a good physique. This is the physique I maintain on the tips that I'm sharing with you at the moment. Thank you, Darren, for just joining. Fantastic. So, guys, we've got just over 7 minutes left of this live. What I'm going to be talking about next is how to track fat loss without obsessing. We're then going to be busting some fat loss myths. And then in just around 7 minutes' time, we're then going to do a wrap up. So if you guys are liking the live, please smash the like button for the live. If you guys have got any comments, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you guys as we're running through. So how to track fat loss without obsessing. So this is, for me, the secrets. This is literally what I think is the key in order to get to the results of where you want to get to. Firstly, progress pictures are the best. Everyone's got a phone. I know when you first start fat loss or weight loss, you don't feel sexy. But take that picture in the mirror. Take that picture, store it away in a folder. In a month's time, take another picture. In a month's time, take another picture. If you really want to, you can take a picture every week, but super, super important that you take progress pictures consistently. Because once you accumulate up weeks and weeks of hard work, let's say 3 months of hard work, you can look at your most recent picture to your starting picture. The pictures don't lie. That is it. That is your starting point. This is where I started, and this is how far I've come. The next thing that you can do to track fat loss without obsessing is to take measurements. Get the measuring tape out. Measure everywhere on your body, your forearms, your biceps, your chest, your back, your waist, your legs, all over your body. And, and register those measurements on your phone. Hey, Anna, thank you for joining. Put them on your phone somewhere. And again, every month, retake your measurements, but don't get too obsessed with it. Super, super important to do that because it's a very effective way to track your progress. Next, how to track your fat loss without obsessing is how do your clothes feel? I'm not talking about putting them in the tumble dryer and shrinking them. I'm talking about how do they feel generally, right? Do they feel better? Do they feel once you're achieving fat loss, weight loss, are your jeans falling off? This is one of the telltale signs that things are moving in the right direction. Because you're hitting gym sessions, are you having strength gains in the gym? Are you progressing every week? This is super, super important. It's all moving you in the right direction. The best thing to do is to have these check-ins on a weekly average instead of a daily scale check. This is because you are not going to be obsessed with the number on the scale. Super, super important. So, how to track fat loss without obsessing? Progress photos, measurements, how clothes fit, strength gains in the gym, and you're going to do this on a weekly basis and accumulate it up. You're going to replace that instead of your daily scale check in. If you guys are already taking progress pictures, send me a little camera emoji in the chat. The last thing that I'm going to be talking about is busting fat loss myths. So I'm going to be just moving through these quite quickly because I know we're nearly at time. So sweating does not automatically mean that you are achieving fat loss. This is a myth. You don't need to have no carbs for fat loss. Carbs are fantastic. You need to have them in your diet as long as you are controlling your total amount of calories that you're having in each day and then you're in a deficit. That's the most important thing. Carbs are your friend. More workouts equal faster results. That does not necessarily mean the case if you are not on top of your nutrition. Remember, you can't outtrain a bad diet. Super, super important to remember that. You will get a lot further than a guy going or a guy or a girl going to the gym or exercising 5-6 days a week and not tracking what they're eating and not following these tips rather than someone that's going 3 days a week and has got these things on point. And the last fat loss myth is the scale must drop every week. That is a complete lie. As I've mentioned, if you are wanting to achieve fat loss, remember, only body fat is lost. So the scales might stay the same. You might weigh the same weight. So remember that your body is changing, but your clothes will definitely fit better. So just to recap before we finish the session, fat loss changes your body. Weight loss only changes the number. Focus on sustainable habits, strength training, protein, movement, sleep, tracking progress rather than just tracking the number on the scale. If you guys have found this live helpful, please like the live. Please follow me. DM me afterwards if you found this session helpful. In my next live, I'm going to be doing that over the weekend. So if you guys are interested in joining my next live, it will be on my TikTok. Also, as well, if you guys have joined late, I'm uploading all of my lives to my YouTube channel, Fitness Talk with Ross. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a nice, peaceful, and relaxing Friday, and I shall see you guys soon. Thank you very much, guys. Have a lovely evening.